Now, even though we're getting to the end of all this, there are still quite some unsettling things that we do need to talk about, and I'm honestly starting to think that things may not shape up to how a lot of people think it's going to go. There's going to be some massive, crazy curveball at the end of all this, and I'm not sure what it's going to be, but it's something that you'd have to expect from Oda because this is very typical from him, especially considering the caliber of this arc. If the curveball in previous arcs were shocking, we can only imagine what would happen in an arc like this. There's so many elements, so many variables, so many characters. There's just so many things that Oda can do at this point that you can't really predict what comes next because the variables are just insane. Now, the spoilers aren't out as of making of this video, but I think they will be coming out later on today. I'm not sure, but they usually come out around Tuesday to Wednesday morning or around that time period. So be careful, but as usual, please drop a like on this video. Let's go for 500 likes and subscribe if you're new here. Now, first things first, Luffy versus Kaido. Now, something that really caught the attention of the community in the previous chapter was that Luffy was saying that this is going to be his final Gear 4 form, and this had a lot of people puzzled because a lot of people were expecting more from Luffy, myself included. And again, the reason being that Kaido has to be defeated with something that we've never seen before. I feel like if you're going to take out Kaido, Luffy has to bring out something more than just Conqueror's Haki with Gear 4th, because even then, I'm not sure if that's even going to be able to take out Kaido, because for the most part, he's just been eating Luffy's attacks so far. Now, the same could be said about Luffy, in which he's capable of enduring a lot of Conqueror's Haki coded attacks, just like Kaido, but we're seeing the difference in ability and strength, in which Luffy's durability and endurance is not up to par, right? The endurance and durability of Kaido's mythical devil fruit is no joke, and I'm glad that Oda is putting a highlight on that. We also have to include the fact that Kaido himself is naturally durable. Knocking out Kaido is something that's not going to be easy and would require immense attack power. Now, while Conqueror's Haki has been doing its thing for the past couple of chapters for Luffy, we need more. We simply just need more power, because these blows Luffy are doing right now, while it's doing damage, it's not doing enough damage for it to put Kaido down for the count. And it's very reminiscent to Luffy versus Doflamingo, in which when Luffy got into Gear 4th, he was doing damage to Dofi, but at the same time, Dofi's durability was so much that he was able to take multiple of these attacks without actually getting KO'd. And the only way Luffy could knock him out was to go above and beyond and use an ultimate finisher, and that's when he could finally take Doflamingo out. But again, this arc has so much going on that it's not going to follow the usual schemes of other arcs, and even Oda states here that he thinks that people wouldn't be satisfied with Luffy just winning with a very strong punch. So Oda is of the mindset that he wants to do something even more to defeat Kaido, and I think we're going to get that something very soon. Now again, it might not necessarily be a new form per se, but it will be a new power that he has access to, whether it is Devil Fruit Awakening, the voice of all things, or even a new usage of Conqueror's Haki. So again, I think a lot of people are expecting more than just Gear 4th, and again, I will say that I do like Gear 4th, but it's been used for Yonko commanders, and I think Yonkos definitely deserve something much higher. These are endgame villains we're talking about here. So again, is this Luffy's final Gear 4th form? Very likely. Is it Luffy's last form or last form of power? Very unlikely. There's more to Luffy that we don't know about yet. There's the unconscious Haki, the voice of all things. There's a lot that can go into this. Now, we also have Zoro to talk about here. Ever since his battle with King, he's been in a very bad shape, more so than anyone else on the island, and this is very reasonable because of the amount of things Zoro did with barely any rest time, right? He took on the strongest attacks from 2 Yonkos, he scarred Kaido, took on a Thunder Bagua, surpassed his limits so many times. He goes to fight King with barely any rest, gets tossed around for the majority of the fight, and then finally he was able to defeat King. But we do know that he took some sort of drug to mitigate his broken body, but again, in return, these drugs were going to have crazy after effects, which we are seeing as of right now. So with Zoro, he's in a very bad predicament, but obviously with Chopper there being the miracle doctor that he is, I think everything is going to end up fine. But there is something strange definitely happening, in which Zoro happened to meet some sort of Grim Reaper. Now, a lot of people previously were saying that this was Brook and that Zoro was kind of hallucinating to some extent, but it was later confirmed that Brook was actually on the other side of the island, so this was something that had nothing to do with any Straw Hats saving Zoro. And it's very interesting because Zoro was conscious when this demon or Grim Reaper showed up, but the next time we see him, he's unconscious. And again, the Grim Reaper was in a position to attack attack him. So we know that this was a very aggressive encounter. It's not like this Grim Reaper was coming to help Zoro or something. He was obviously in a position to attack him. And as you guys know, I gave my thoughts as to what I think it was. I personally think that that was the manifestation of death. When someone is at the brink of death, they happen to see what eventually claims their life and soul or spirit. And maybe that's what Zoro saw here. And perhaps to escape death itself, you need to overcome this thing. And that could be what possibly happened here with Zoro. And it's actually kind of funny because Zoro did say that he wanted to become the king of hell. And you know, death itself showed up to confirm those claims, in which Zoro doesn't seem to be doing good right now. But it was a very interesting encounter and something that we've never seen before. Now, some people do think that this is one of his blades, particularly Enma, in which Enma is showing up in a physical form to make him go through some trials. But again, I'm not sure how that works, but we do know for certain that this isn't something natural, and it most likely is very spiritual in nature. So we're definitely dealing with something supernatural here. And Zoro even mentions that he did feel a bit weird from this whole confrontation. So something was definitely amiss, and it wasn't natural in nature. But it is very likely that Zoro did overcome this Grim Reaper or death itself, so we can only imagine how much stronger he's become. It's looking like some sort of power up to me. Now, there's also CP0 to talk about here, in which this guy actually has new orders from capturing Nico Robin to eliminating Straw Hat. And this honestly raises a huge question as to what they saw to make them change their minds, because during this whole time they were more of the mindset that Robin had to be a priority. And then later on we get mentions of Zunisha showing up to Wano. We got the mention about a legendary devil fruit being awakened, and all of a sudden the Gorosei had changed their minds. They see Luffy as more of a threat than Robin at this point in time anyways. Now, with the whole devil fruit ability, personally I feel like this is a deviation tactic from Oda. It seems like he's pointing towards Luffy's devil fruit here, but in reality they are most likely talking about someone else, because again, the timeline of events doesn't really make any sense. The Gomu Gomu no Mi has been around for a very long time, so this should have been mentioned beforehand. Why is it now that they are realizing that this devil fruit Luffy has is important? It just doesn't make any sense in that regard. Now, they could be talking about Luffy's awakening, but they did also state that the fruit hasn't awakened in so many years, meaning that it has awakened as of right now. Now, the term awakening here is kind of sketchy. I don't know if they mean awakening of a devil fruit or someone used something about the fruit in particular, something specific about the devil fruit. We don't necessarily know at this point, but I do think that the devil fruit that they were talking about here was not Luffy's devil fruit, but someone else's. But ultimately, something that we do have to take into account is that they changed their minds right after Big Mom got defeated. So maybe that was kind of the setup for them, where if Big Mom gets defeated here, then it might be very possible for Kaido to get defeated. And once they realized that, they panicked and they saw the repercussions of what's going to happen when both Yonkos get taken down. And maybe that's when they realize that they need to relay information to that CP0 agent to have Luffy prioritized over Nico Robin. I think that's the one that makes the most probable sense here. But again, you never know. There might be more to what the Gorosei were talking about, because it just seems a bit too straightforward. There's got to be twists and turns somewhere down the road when you take Oda into account anyways. But I am looking forward to whatever comes next, because we're at the climax now. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Comment down below what you guys think about this whole situation. What twists and turns do you guys see coming? Again, I would appreciate it if you dropped a like on this video, subscribe for more One Piece content on this channel, hit the bell if you want to get notified for future videos. But it is Ferro, guys, and I will see you folks later. Peace.